Warning, 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 warning. 3, 2, 1. The FantasyFootballTips.co podcast with Mills and Quigliano.
Hi, you're listening to FantasyFootballTips.co, the podcast in association with Premier Punt, the home of daily fantasy football betting. My name is Mills, and I'm joined in the studio this week. Glad to say in the studio, gentlemen, by JP and Quigliano.
The fans' favourite, the people's champion.
And me.
And poor old JP,
And JP.
shoved up in the corner over there.
Yeah, it's cosy. That's all I have to say.
A man of few words
Take
this
some of
week.
those layers off then. An Under Armour.
Yeah.
Cold outside.
It's January, it's winter.
I mean,
You've been inside all day though, haven't you?
I have, yeah.
it's a studio of extremes. JP, who is layered up like a woolly mammoth, and then Quigliano in his shorts, sporting a nice little tan.
It's lovely, yeah. I was just actually assessing how far up the tan went, and he's done
Just
well.
Grazing my inner thigh
Grazing-
with your knuckle there as well.
That's friends. Friends will be friends. I'm quite impressed actually. He's clearly been wearing Budgie Smugglers. I've said that. No, I haven't said that
No.
right. Budgie Smugglers was okay.
You tipped it right, mate.
I did tip it right. I'm questioning myself sometimes these days.
Okay, I mean, is there any tension in the air today after the obviously JP stepped in, didn't he, after Quigliano's honeymoon? So, or it was Quigliano was on honeymoon.
Well, potentially, had he done a good job of it, I would. There may have been a bit of tension, but the fact that I like the fact you went for the comedy approach and just gave out some really, really bogus tips.
Well, that's harsh, but it's true. There's some truth in that. There were some good tips as well. You move on, you move forward.
Okay.
Okay, I mean, let's look at last week then, so game week 20. How was that for you two? Quigliano, are we seeing any kind of return to form for you?
We are seeing that because obviously it was a lot of quiet teams, a lot of quiet managers at the weekend because the Vardy-Mahrez combo sort of got derailed again, which makes me laugh. We had that Kolarov own goal, all the players that they're like, we must have these, we must have the key players in there that they've filled their teams with. They're now like scratching their heads going, Aguero, should I have kept some money for Aguero? And now they can't do it. And those that have stuck to their morals, although I was talking about a New Year's resolution, those that have stuck to those morals actually had a better game week and things are looking a little bit rosier. We had United strikers scoring again. We had Chelsea winning 3-0 with key players scoring. Man City, what was the Man City score at the weekend, Mills?
They won 2-1 against Watford.
And who scored up front?
That man Aguero, he's back.
So we're starting to see, we had Arsenal kept that clean sheet as well. The top teams, the top 4 teams that we talk about, doing well. And for a man like Quigliano who backs those, start to reap those rewards.
So we maybe see a change. I've noticed on Twitter, people talking about the template team, that's changing again.
What does template team mean?
So it kind of means that the players, the top ownership players, so those players that everyone is putting in. And obviously that evolves and changes over the season. But Aguero, are we saying Aguero and Costa, they're part of that template team?
They kind of balance,
They
they ruin
be.
the balance of teams, don't they, in terms of... Like it's hard to get all the template players in when you're trying to have Aguero and some good quality players around them as well. But,
Absolutely.
So yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm actually seeing a bit of panic from other people. A few wild cards being dropped early doors.
And I love it. In our mini league in particular, I think someone played a wild card the first week of January, and was it 38 points?
He did, yes.
He did.
I mean, that's beautiful, isn't it?
Stunning.
I also like that some people didn't play their wild cards and then thought they'd had a little ace up their sleeve.
How are you feeling about this, JP? I think, does this apply to you?
Well, it does apply to me, but what I will mention is...
Oh, you didn't play yours?
I didn't play mine. I chose not to. Didn't need it.
Chose not to.
Didn't
You
need to.
Didn't need a wild card.
Can I explain why?
Can I just ask before you explain?
Yeah.
Have you taken any minus points during the season?
I've taken 1 -4. I will hold my hands up to 1 -4.
So you could have
used your wild card.
I could have used my wild card there, but 4 points, okay, fair enough, yeah. What I will say is I'm second in the league. I'm through in the cup again, 3rd round now. I'm through. Things are looking up for me. Even when the top 4 are doing well, I've got a good balance between the top 4 and some of those players that aren't in the top 4 that are doing well. I'm happy. It's going well. All good for JP.
You're definitely happy.
I'm very, very, Very
He
happy.
looks a happy
There's
man.
another word for happy. I can't quite think of it, but yeah, I would say that describes you very
Yes, yes, yeah.
Okay, my question then, JP, and I want this on air so
Yes.
so we can have this recorded. Will you be using the wild card in the second half of the season? Because you have another one now. Or do you not need it?
No, listen, the fans deserve the truth. I had a nightmare, forgot to use my other wild card, and will definitely be using my wild card this time round. However, it's a true character and testament to the fact that I must be a good manager if I can do it, do well without a wild card. But yes, I will be using
well.
it.
Can you do well without Mahrez and Vardy?
Absolutely, I proved that, last week. I still got a very good score. I think I got the third highest score, actually, last week.
In the world?
No, the world is your mum's pants league, that is the world.
What do you mean by that? That seems like a disclosure to me that may carry a forfeit, but carry on.
Certainly carries a forfeit, revealing the name of our own mini-league.
Possibly, yes. That's okay, that's yeah.
We'll leave that.
We'll
to
leave-
you.
we'll leave
that for
in
later.
that WhatsApp group.
Leave that for
but,
later.
yeah.
I'm going to...
Grimace in the studio, is he?
An absolute
The
grimace.
walls are closing in.
Oh dear, JP.
Ah, well.
In different news this week, we've got a new writer on the site. His name's Trev Lyons. I'm going to give a little shout out to Trev here. He's already put his first
hard
article.
of hearing?
No, he's in fact he's very well spoken, and he's got some great insights, some really good ideas for the site and for some articles. And he's already gone out there and put one on there. Some top 5 tips for game week 21. So go to fantasyfootballtips.co and have a look. But what I really liked was he has a massive appreciation of what we do here on the podcast. And he said this. He said, I really enjoy the rapport that yourself, JP, and Quigliano have together, as it reminds me of a modern day Gervais, Merchant, and Pilkington. The website is great, blah, 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 blah. Gervais, Pilkington, and Merchant. Wow.
Successful podcast team there.
Very successful. I mean, I can't think what part JP might play in that.
I'm honoured. Regardless of which part, I'm absolutely honoured that he would say that, and I would love to work with this guy a little bit more.
So you're aware of Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant, Carl Pilkington?
Oh, Carl, yeah, appreciate
So
Carl.
which one of those do you think you're perhaps most like?
Well, we all know which one I'm mostly like.
Well,
We'll leave that one to the fans.
Right.
Okay, so I feel a competition coming on here.
Possibly. Not a very good one. It's pretty obvious, but we'll move on.
Okay, right.
Should we get some tips?
Well, I
going?
think it's probably a good idea. We've been here a few minutes already. Let's get some tips on. So Quigliano, I'm coming straight to you for the Gary of the week.
The Gary Busey. We're going for the man who rediscovered a bit of form last week, Diego Costa. He is a good performer in Fantasy Premier League. He got some goals. Chelsea, is this a return of Chelsea? I mean, they've got a decent fixture. I mean, it's West Brom. There's no gimme on any game, any day of the week. But we're going to back Diego. We're going to say that he is going to get the guaranteed points for you this game week.
Okay, yeah, I like that. I think, well, we know what strikers are like. They love going on a roll, don't they? They're confidence is what they need, and he's full of it at the moment. And I think he's not had too much of a grueling Christmas schedule as well because of that suspension. So I think he's a good one.
I mean, listeners, I would say it seems a little bit knee-jerk in terms of putting Costa in on the back of one game week. But the reason for that is that Chelsea really can't afford anything but a good run of games now. I think they'll be picked up as well. They'll be a little bit more motivated under a new manager. They have to be really because they're fighting for places. I think you may see Costa try and go out and prove a point. JP.
Okay.
Agreed with what you're saying. The only issue that some of our listeners might have is getting Aguero and Costa into their team, because I know you were talking about Aguero last week, so it might be an issue on pricing there. Obviously, the principle is absolutely right in terms of...
And I'd say maybe some of these side tips might allow you to do that. So if you went for those two, definitely the cheaper third striker, but we're going to probably mention him in those STs, mate.
And that is why we are such a good website.
Okay, wow. I mean, JP, brilliant. So, Quigliano, let's go for the Xabi Alonso.
So the long shot, the man just coming back again, a bit knee-jerk. Payet.
I mean, he was brilliant, wasn't he, before the injury? And we talked about him last week over our Skype podcast, didn't we? Did he come on? Did he come on in that game?
He did come on.
He did.
Put a few skills out there as well. Looks half decent.
Yeah, and I think he's been thrown out a challenge, hasn't he, by the France manager, Blanc, for the Euros. He said, he's keep performing, you'll be in the squad, you'll be in the team. So that's motivation for him as well. This is the time in the season when you want to be doing that. So, yeah, you can't argue with the form that he had before. So I think that's a good long shot, possibly verging even better than a long shot, I think, Quigliano. So, yeah, nice one. And let's go in with the Delia.
Bit of a throwback, this Delia, to a man who once was probably in your team. It's Joleon Lescott. Okay, as a Wolves
throwback.
fan, it's a bit of a further throwback for me because I remember him at the Molineux. He's somebody who used to always not only have like potential for clean sheets, but could also grab a goal. At Everton, he used to always chip in there. Even at City, he'd pick up the odd goal. He's gone to Villa, who cannot keep a clean sheet to save their lives. And actually watch him get destroyed by Jermaine Defoe for those 2 goals. Really, I thought he looked sluggish, and he should never have been beaten. Sort of keeper has a little bit to do, and it was a good finish, but still. Lescott in his heyday wouldn't be getting done like that. So, the Delia, where are you? Let's be having you, Joleon Lescott.
Right, and I think between us in the studio and between all our fans out there, let's all tweet Joleon Lescott and ask him where he is. Let's see if we can get a response from a Premiership footballer this week.
Wow.
The challenge is on.
Okay.
Sounds exciting to me.
So it's a challenge for us 3.
Is that like the Laurent Blanc challenge that's at Payet?
Yeah.
Yeah,
this is
very similar.
Yeah, very
Probably
similar.
more important.
Probably, I would
This
say
is
more.
much more important.
Yes.
Means more.
So, I mean, I'm not 100% sure what Joleon Lescott's Twitter handle is, but we'll find out for you before the end of the show. And yeah, let's harangue him this week. Okay.
I must say I'm a big fan of Joleon Lescott as well. So any offence caused, Quigliano is a big fan of Lescott, but let's be having it.
You might need to tell me how to use Twitter, but
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Okay. So we'll be right back after this with the side tips.
You are listening to Mills and Quigliano on the FantasyFootballTips.co podcast. Sponsored by Premier Punt. All your fantasy Premier League tips in one juicy little podcast. Get in touch at www.fantasyfootballtips.co.
Okay, I know you like this Fast and Furious, Quigliano. It's the side tips.
I'm actually not a fan of Fast and Furious. Vin Diesel's not one of my favourite.
Well, no. I mean, is it Fast and Furious 7 now?
7.
That's got to be ridiculous.
It's a lot, isn't it? I think they're doing 8 as well.
Oh, you're the film buff, aren't you, JP?
Yeah.
I do like a good film, Millsy.
I mean, someone asked me to go and watch that Fantastic Four, but I said I haven't seen Fantastic 1, 2 or 3. There.
On to the side tips.
On to the side tips right then. We're going Chelsea again. We're going Willian. He's a man in my own team. He's creeping up in price because people are jumping on him. He's doing okay. His form has got a little bit better, and he's not only a good chance in terms of like he gets some shots away. He's also a good creative spark for them. You've only got to look at that through ball he played the other week. It was fantastic. So Willian is a side tip. Aguero. I don't see how you play Fantasy Premier League without him in your team. I'm going to be interested to see how people scramble to try and get him in. I think in our own mini league we may either see a wild card dropped or some -8s. And I'm rubbing my hands together.
Absolutely. I mean, I think me and you are the ones in that league that have Aguero in. I personally think, and I think this not just for our league, I think this across the board, what's going to happen is a lot of people will hang fire. They will try to hold off on putting Aguero in because they want to keep Ighalo, Kane, Giroud, Lukaku. There's so many strikers to choose from until he scores 3 or 4 in a game, which he will do at some point. You can pretty much guarantee that. And then I think the floodgates will open. Everyone will do whatever they need to do, like you say, whether it'll be a wild card, a -8, and they'll be getting him in.
And we'll have got that nice little cheap price if you count 13.1 million as cheap. Moving on then, I'm going Spurs. I'm back in the Spurs spine. Alderweireld is an option. You've got cheaper options there in Walker and Dia. Kane up front is their go-to striker. You guaranteed he's going to get 90 minutes for you.
And they've got... Sorry, go on.
And then is Dele Alli.
Dele Alli.
He's playing in that attacking midfield role that Eriksen really probably should be playing in. He's picking up points regularly for them. I don't see why you don't get him in your team at 5.4.
It's low fives, yeah. It's low fives.
If you're looking for Aguero, there's your good sidekick to the side tip. Wow.
Nice, I like that. And they're playing Leicester this week at home, Spurs are.
And they are derailed, mate. They're gone.
Well, there's a bit of debate here, isn't there, over that? But they have kept 2 clean sheets in a row. Yes, they have failed to score in 2 games as well. So the defensive picks, I think, are good there for Spurs.
Simpson, 4.1 now.
No, I
The
mean, I think the
Spurs for
Spurs.
Leicester.
Yeah, I think the Spurs defenders look good.
They've also lost for this week some of their attacking threat, haven't they? Because Vardy has had an operation.
Yeah, I mean,
So you always think that Leicester are a little bit weaker without him, definitely.
yeah, it's going to be very close whether he's ready for that game. I heard it was 10 days. I don't think
It's
he'll be back.
almost-
I don't think he'll be back.
Almost no chance. And if he is, surely he's going to have lost a little bit of that sharpness over those.
If he hasn't already,
weeks.
of course. So,
Bubbles burst.
okay, Quigliano, you've got a bit of a throwback for us now, haven't
Another
you?
throwback. Well, two really. Jermaine Defoe. We're jumping on the bandwagon there. He picks up 2 goals for Sunderland. As you said, they go on these little hot streaks. We're tipping Defoe there. An even bigger throwback to sort of pedigree, to history, the glory days. Siggy, old Gylfi Sigurdsson. What a player he used to be. I mean, that could have been many a dealer, but he grabbed one at the weekend, didn't he? And we're tipping him as a little side tip. Or maybe just a little, watch this space. Watford, still looking like a good outfit no matter what. And Igalo is a quality player. Him and Deeney, always worth a punt. And Southampton, to me, they're still stuttering slightly. And then final one, Stoke, potentially, with Norwich at home, we fancy a clean sheet, so it's either the defence or Butland. Thoughts on that?
Okay, I mean, JP, I'm going to go straight to you.
It's a very strong set of side tips. I particularly like the Tottenham idea. I love the fact that we're going throwback and we're going Siggy and Defoe. Very happy with that. And obviously, I mention it week in, week out, Igalo. Get that man in your team.
Could be a little song going there.
I was just thinking that.
could
A
be.
little remix.
It could be.
Remember the Harry Kane remix from last season, Quigliano?
Can, yeah. He's
Yeah,
gone
I mean, that's embarrassing. Little
Yes.
private in-joke for the people that were listening last season. Yeah, JP, I like that. So I've got a question for you, gentlemen. In fact, I've got 2 questions, and this comes from a club called FC Mediocre, and they're from Norway. Didn't give me his name, but FC Mediocre. And
Shout out to the Scandinavians there,
Well,
the Vikings.
he says, first of all, he'll be happy about that. He says, first of all, Happy New Year. Thank you for an informative and, most of all, fun podcast. I have 2 questions for you that I hope you'll answer.
He's buttered us up, so we'll take the 2.
So
Yeah,
we'll take
absolutely.
them. The first one, he's saying, and we maybe have kind of answered this already, but we'll go there. Most fantasy managers will want to get Aguero now that he plays full matches and has started scoring again. Many of these managers have both Lukaku and Kane. Who on earth do they get rid of to make room for Aguero?
Well, you've just described my strike force there, haven't you? Kane, Lukaku and Aguero.
That's strong.
I feel you're looking at the players such as Willian is a cheap option. I think he's only 7.1 now. Dele Alli, 5.4. Need to double check that one. That's going on.
I think he might be a little bit less than that.
Might be even
actually.
less than that. I mean, if you've got those 2 in, to me, that allows 2 decent midfielders as well.
I suppose, yeah, I agree totally. If you're probably, if you absolutely have to get rid of one of the 2, my gut says get rid of Harry Kane, actually, of the 2. I think Lukaku is probably, if I look at the 2 strikers, I feel that Lukaku is slightly more likely a goal. I think he's more likely to get a goal of the 2.
Okay, and then the counter argument to that is that Spurs have got much better fixtures coming up than Everton. So it's not an easy one to answer by any means.
Very tough one.
I
Very
think
tough one.
the other option, as we mentioned, Costa. I mean, Costa is a serious option.
Yeah, so you could take Aguero, Costa, and then drop both
I'd
of
drop
those
both
2
and Igalo.
I'd
I
or
go Igalo
Deeney.
because he's cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
And then this question is probably more important. And he says, will JP be carrying more weight in the show now that he has outranked Quigliano?
Well, I mean, I'd
Wow.
like to start on that. I mean, firstly, the answer would be yes. Okay, it's obviously been a very good Christmas because the gills, those jowls underneath JP's throat, they look a bit bigger. So I would definitely say he's carrying more weight at the minute. Was it a good Christmas in the JP household?
It was a fantastic Christmas, yeah.
I
It's
know
great.
your mum does a very good roast.
An excellent roast. An excellent roast, yeah. Yeah.
That's going in the song. Okay.
Yeah, please do, yeah.
So yeah, I'm sure that was.
No, big thank you to this listener here. I mean, it's great, great words, and I appreciate it. The only thing I'd say to you is, believe in yourself. That name FC Mediocre, I'm sure you're better than that. Have confidence. But no, I want to, I want to let him know that I will continue to strive to improve and be involved heavily.
Tell us a little bit of information on Norway, just to show that you really appreciate that.
Well, it's a beautiful Scandinavian country, straight away. Had a couple of good players in the Premier League in the past. We've had John Arne Riise, we've had Hangeland, we've had some good players.
Okay. Anything else?
I don't need to say anything
I
else.
like it.
I've got the respect of that person. I respect him back.
Well, he didn't actually say you'd got his respect, but
Well, I respect him.
okay. If indeed it is a man, because it might be a woman.
Very true.
Okay.
Probably not, though.
Right.
Let's be honest.
That is bringing us towards the end of the podcast, as it is.
The standard.
The standard for the cheapies, as we like to say. But we will be back very shortly for the podcast extra. And JP, how do you listen to the podcast extra? What do we have to do? What do you have to do to be able to listen to the podcast extra?
You have to
Have
become.
ears.
You have to. Well, number one, you must have ears, yes, and be able to hear through them. Secondly, become a premium member. Become a premium member, and we
Okay.
would be honoured to have you. And we would welcome you with open arms. It's fantastic.
Okay, I thought you were going to say it's
fantastic.
free then, because actually
It's not free,
but
no,
it
it is fantastic.
And £9 a year, which works out to 75p a month. Which I'm not even going to insult you by telling you what that works out to each day.
What's that a game week?
It's very, very little. It's about 7 pence.
Wow.
Really?
No, I don't know.
that's a little bit
50p,
low.
50p, something like that. Something
No
like that.
idea.
I don't know. But it's cheap. £1.50 a month if you want to pay monthly, and if you want a lifetime membership, £49, and you've got it forever. I mean, you can't say fairer than that, can you? We'll be back after this. It's goodbye from me.
It's a goodbye from me.
It's see you later from Quigliano.
See you in podcast extra.
Warning, 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 warning. 3, 2, 1. The FantasyFootballTips.co podcast with Mills and Quigliano.